We have something interesting today, or I hope you find it interesting. I found it interesting. I actually found myself looking into, well, this is also on the website, thepropergentleman'sclub.com, and the latest blog article should be up at this time. And, I was staring into the void this weekend, the void that is myself, and I discovered something about myself. I had just gone to the Cavs game with my dad on that Friday night, and I woke up the next morning feeling so so, to say the least. And by so so, I mean, one moment, one moment here. Okay, we are back. Sorry, I had to get a pen and just out of sorts this morning. Just got back from the gym. I'm sweating a little bit. Not sweating to be disgusting, but a little bit of perspiration. So, anyway, let's get into it. I realized that I struggle with bonding. And this is something that's been from my childhood with how I was raised by, I had two mothers. And I'm not even going to make a long story short. I'm not even going to get into it at this time. We'll get into it later. But my ability to bond has always been hampered because the nurturing from the mother side was not there. Okay. To say the least. And when I looked at why I felt empty that very next day after having done a fun activity with my father, I realized is because I don't have the best bonding capability. Didn't have the best bonding capability. Didn't even know that I was that was it what they call a blind spot? It was a blind spot. And I started thinking about how I can get better at that. And you know what popped up? Some interesting things popped up. So I hope if you have seen the I think the video, there's a relationship guy on the I think just Drew Barrymore show. And there's a snippet going around. And he says some interesting things about how relationships begin. And I agreed with him. But I have a couple other things to add. So let's go through his first. His are, and this act the first one actually came from somewhere else. I heard the first one somewhere else. The first one is admiration. So who did I hear this from? Oh, Ayn Rand. And the virtue of selfishness, which I have meant to get into and I still have not gotten there. We'll have to maybe try to check in on that next week. Admiration is the key for a long lasting partnership because you have to admire your partner before you even get with them. If you don't admire the person and you just like them, that relationship will is built on very shaky foundation. Two people should be admiring each other first. If you don't admire the other person, why is it that you're interested in them, right? And you can have an interest in a person, but that's not admiration. Admiration is like, we know what admiration is. Most of you people admired your parents if you came from great family homes. Most of you might admire your partner if you met your partner at a great time in their life and they were doing something great. Like, let's say you met a pilot who was interested in you. You might have some, for ladies, you might have some admiration for this guy who's doing something so completely different than everyone else, right? So, admiration. The second one is mutual interest. There has to be mutual interest after the admiration, right? And the third part is commitment. Is this person capable or willing, desiring to be committed to you? Those three things, admiration, interest, and commitment, are the keys to starting a fruitful, hopefully long lasting relationship. Okay, bonding. What I realize is that because of the lack of nurturing in my life from a very young age, and guys know this, we've talked about this, right? We typically attract people with our capacity and our availability. And I'll say that one more time. We, when we are dating people and we're unaware of the blind spot, we will attract people with our capacity and our availability. And if you're not attracting people with, and this is because we seek to bond with people on our level, on our capacity to bond. And if you don't have a great ability to bond, you're going to bond with people who give you the type of bond that you seek, even if you don't know that you're seeking that bond. Even if you're seeking a deeper bond, you're only going to seek what you are, right? You're only going to attract what you are, not what you want or lack. You're going to attract what you are, which means that in the course of my life, I have always attracted women who are just like me in terms of capacity and availability, whether they're not available but have the capacity, or have the capacity or are available, right? The mix of the two is what I mean. Either the capacity is not there or the availability is not there, one or the other, but it's never full and it's never exactly what I wanted. Now that I've seen this in terms of bonding, when I look at my own capacity to love and be loved, I'm not going to say that it's immense in terms of in relating to other people, that it's more than or it's less than. I believe that I have a great capacity for love and to be loved. I love to please. I love to make sure my partner's taken care of. And the nurturing thing, I'm just now getting into. That aside, capacity. What capacity does the person that you have this admiration, interest, and desire to be committed to, do they have the capacity to love you like you love them? And I say that because you will always be looking to receive back that which you give. And if you feel that your capacity is more than another person's that you're seeing, you're always going to be feeling unfulfilled in the relationship, which causes us to go out of our way to seek to get our capacity from other people. This is why we go outside of the relationship. If the person does not have your capacity, or you feel that they don't have your capacity, you are never going to be satisfied with what that person is giving you. And here's the kicker. That person's capacity, what they're giving you, may be all that they can give you. And that is the crazy part. Here's the deal. Our capacities, if I feel like my capacity is here and your capacity is here, I'm never going to get back that which I feel like I'm putting into it. And I'm going to be unsatisfied. Even though this person here is doing literally everything they can, because that's their capacity. The next part is availability. Availability meaning this person is available to you. I think one of my biggest things in not necessarily dating, but now that I look at what I'm desiring out of a possible relationship in the future, is, I don't have a dog, I don't have cats, I don't have kids. My family's kind of spread out all over. It's just me. I work out, I go to work, I cook my own food, I sew my own clothes, I mop my own floors, I do my own dishes, do my own clothes, like all of it, right? With no distractions, nothing else going on. And so for me to enter into a potential relationship, and this includes friendships as well, right? How many of us are friends with people who are married and we're unmarried? Or how many of us are friends with people who have so much stuff going on? They're constantly all over the place, right? Their availability does not match yours. You have somebody who, they've got 3 dogs, or they've got a dog and 2 cats, or they've got 2 kids at the house and a dog, and you don't have any of that, like me, for instance. I'm going to feel like I'm being gypped on the availability because I'm available and that person is not. Now, why would I attract that? I would attract that because my ability to bond is not where it should be in terms of being able to completely bond with somebody who is at my capacity and availability. Your ability to bond with someone is based on your capacity and your availability. So there's 5 things total that you're looking at when you're looking at a serious relationship. Do you have admiration for this person? Is there mutual interest? Is there a desire to be committed from both sides? Secondly, where is their capacity and availability for you? And vice versa. Are you completely available? Do you have full capacity? And that includes, like, your trauma, your pain. Are you ready to even get into a relationship? Like, what are you looking to get out of a relationship, right? And so when I started looking into that void and looked back at me and said, James, your ability to bond is lower than you think because you have not been in the place where you desire it to be. So capacity, does their capacity match yours? Does their availability match yours? Do you admire this person? Is there mutual interest? And is there a desire to be committed from both sides? If you have all those 5 things lined up, I guess I shouldn't guarantee, but you got a great chance for success in a long-term relationship when you're looking at those 5 keys to starting a successful relationship with a proper bond, a bond that you can feel. And again, to finalize this happened because I was wondering why I felt like there was some kind of void inside of me. Like I couldn't feel connected to people. And I couldn't feel connected because my ability to bond had been, you take hits over the years. You take hits. We all take hits. And it doesn't feel good when we take those hits. And that's okay. But if you don't see it, if you can't see that blind spot, you're never going to be able to change what it is about yourself that keeps you coming and going in that same cycle. So, again, to finish up, your ability to bond very closely to another person is very dependent on yours and theirs capacity and availability to bond. Capacity and availability to bond. And also, in terms of the relationship, mutual admiration, mutual interest, mutual desire to commit. You have those things, you're on your way to something very beautiful, very successful, and very fulfilling. Gentlemen, with that being said, this is episode 11, and I'll see you guys next week. All right.